Ladies and gentlemen, we are now in for the lightning talk session. Before we move on to the lightning talk, you would be glad to know that you can win prizes by attending the forum sessions. In order to win a prize, all you have to do is to engage with speakers through the Q&A and visit the virtual booths to collect the points. Participants who manage to collect the most points will receive an Amazon gift card worth 50 USD. So don't miss this amazing opportunity. Now, I would like to invite our moderator for the lightning talk session, Mr. David Choi from MyNIC. David, you now have the floor.
Thank you, Zian. Hello, everybody. Okay, so welcome to the lightning talk. There are two lightning talks going to be held throughout these 3 days. This is the first, and the first one of all is going to be very interesting. And I hope all you guys can hear as well. Give us a thumbs up at the chat there if you can hear us, and then we'll begin a lightning talk with an interesting speaker. Our first speaker on the floor is from Xiangzi. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Welcome, Xiangzi. Are you here? Can you hear me?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, right, loud and clear. So let us give you a background about Xiangzi and what she's going to talk about. She is a PhD student from Georgia Tech School of Cybersecurity and Privacy. Now, her topic is on building an open, robust, and stable voting-based domain top list hosting passive DNS data. So it's quite a mouthful of words here. So the best of all is to begin slightly talking, let her begin the topic of discussion. Xiangzi, over to you.
Okay. Can I share my screen now?
Yes, you may.
Okay. Hello, my name is Qingge Xie. I'm a PhD student in Georgia Tech. Today I'm talking about how we build a domain top list from scratch using an extensive passive DNS dataset. This is a joint work with folks in Xianxin Research Institute and Tsinghua University and Georgia Tech. And this work will also be published in the Usenix Security Symposium this year. So now many of you may not heard about domain top list before. Let me first describe what it is and give some examples of some widely used domain top list. Basically, domain top list can provide a set of popular or commonly used domain to investigate, and internet measurement or security privacy research heavily relies on domain top list. For example, in whitelisting some domains or investigating phishing domains. Alexa Top 1 Million and Cisco Umbrella Top 1 Million are two top lists that have been commonly used to rank domains by user visit or traffic. And Tranquil top list is not a top list construction method, but rather a method for combining the ranking of domain across existing top lists, for example, Alexa and Umbrella. We also note that there are other top lists that are paid or otherwise restrict usage or are created towards search engine optimization rather than domain popularity, for example, Quantcast and Majestic. So for the existing top list, researchers have identified various undesirable properties that could affect their use in measurement efforts. These issues including high volatility in the rankings, limited data granularity, and easy manipulation to achieve high rankings for the targeted domains. In addition, the data source and ranking method for this top list remain opaque, inhibiting a concrete understanding of this top list. So in general, domain ranking is an inherently subjective task, as it depends on the matrix used for domain popularity. There is no ground truth or universal ordering. However, there are still designable properties for domain top list, given their extensive use in measurement research. So we list these 4 properties when building our own top list. As our input data collection and top list construction method are openly described and should remain constant. So we argue that our top list already provides more construction transparency and consistency compared to the existing top list. Thus, for evaluating top list, we focus on manipulation resistance and stability properties. So in spite of those serious concerns uncovered about existing top lists, they continue to be used today throughout networking and security research, as there ultimately remain no viable alternatives. Very few existing data sources can serve as such top list. And our study is based on a continuous large-scale passive DNS from the public DNS resolver for 114 DNS. 114 DNS is the largest DNS provider in China. The dataset contains all clients' DNS requests, as well as the DNS response returned by the 114 DNS recursive resolvers. So the passive DNS data used in this study is collected from November 2020 to April 2021. And on average, the passive DNS dataset consists of nearly 500 billion unique DNS requests from 70 million clients every day, and for about 540 million FQDNs. These FQDNs are distributed across an average of 13 million SLDs every day. So by using this passive DNS data, we develop a ranking approach where each client's IP address can express their individual domain preference. And the global top list ranking is based on aggregating this domain preference across all IP addresses through a voting scheme. Because voting has been a well-studied approach for combining preference across multiple units, thus our ranking can be interpreted as an internet-wide election on popular domains. So I'm gonna leave details of how we choose voting scheme and how to character matrix from the passive DNS dataset, as you may check it in our paper. So finally, we consider BODA 1000 as a philosophically reasonable method. where the subscript 1000 is a truncation threshold for BODA method. So we will focus on evaluating BODA 1000 next. So next, we evaluate the manipulation resistance of our voting-based top list, and we can see that without IP weighting, we estimate that an attacker only requires about 45 IP addresses to enter our top 1 million. And after we apply IP weighting, the identical attack requires nearly 500 IP addresses to enter the top 1 million. It's about an order of magnitude increase. Also, in order to directly compare to Cisco Umbrella's ranking, we identified a new manipulation method for DNS-based domain top list by using open DNS resolvers remain on the internet. So basically, we use about 20,000 IP addresses with 5 DNS requests each to test Cisco Umbrella's top list and 114 our data set. So the result is the target domain achieved a constant ranking within Umbrella's top 10,000, but only achieved like 29,000 to 41,000 in our ranking. So our ranking demonstrates more manipulation resistance compared to Cisco Umbrella's ranking. We also evaluate Alexa and Tranco, and our ranking also have more manipulation resistance to them. Finally, we compare our top list stability to existing top list shown in the table. There are several design variations besides the one we choose. For example, BODA 10, BODA 100, and BODA 4. And as I mentioned, we finally choose BODA 1000 as it has the best performance in both manipulation resistance and stability. Our list outperform Alexa and Tranco and have similar stability with Cisco Umbrella. However, we know that Umbrella's ranking is constructed on 2 days window of data, so it's less reactive. Thus, our list offers favorable stability and reactivity properties compared to those existing lists. So this work is truly an initial exploration of nature of top list. Future work can investigate the following 3 aspects: improving the robustness of our list construction method and quantifying domain popularity ground truth. Also evaluate the longitude characteristics of domain ecology using our list. So we aim for our work to help guide the use of internet top list for network and security research while driving further investigation into this space. Okay, thanks very much for tuning in. Please feel free to reach out with any questions or comments. And you can also contact me if you want to use our list, as we will release this daily update top list. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you for that particular lightning talk. And those of you who want to ask some questions, you can literally put it into the Q&A pods that we have ready. Some questions that you are interested to ask fellowship here for some of the research. Okay, I'll give you guys 5 minutes if you have any question to ask. Okay. All right. So anytime you can put it in, then we'll channel the question to the Strength itself. Okay. So we'll start with the next one. Now, the next speaker, would like to invite John. John.
Yeah. Hello.
John
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Right. Good. John Venezuela, he's head of sales Australia and South Asia from CSC. His topic is quite insightful as well. If you guys will have seen it on the program list, he's going to talk about DNS health role in security posture. So, John, give us a rundown what exactly this lightning talk of yours about on this particular topic. Over to you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So let me share my screen 1 second. All right. So good day, everyone. I am John. So I represent CSC. We provide domain security and brand protection solutions to organizations globally. And in the next 10 minutes, I will share about best practices, right, in addressing risks on your DNS. All right. These risks could lead to phishing or ransomware attacks. And at the same time, how this relates to your organization. So, Kate, 1 second. All right, screen sharing now. There you go. So, you know, it's difficult times right now, right, in Ukraine. And parallel to this, we have a cyber war happening, right? So you might have heard about sites in Ukraine that have been taken down or defaced, or even used for ransomware attacks, and with evidences to Russia being behind it. So you might have heard governments in the US, UK, Australia, New Zealand, and even here in Singapore, they have all issued directives asking everyone to be more vigilant, right, in their security strategy, because anyone can be a target. So ransomware attacks, you know, are a way to create fear, or can be a source of funding for other initiatives against Ukraine. And as you can see here, President Biden actually released a statement. So he's asking everyone to lock their digital doors. And so how does this you know, relate to your organization? So, so those brands that don't do business with Russia, they face a retaliation threat. And those that, you know, continue to do business with Russia, they face a hacktivist threat from the anonymous. So overall, it's a no-win situation. And you know, we urge organizations to step up and be prepared by putting a proper defense in-depth you know, solution in place, or strategy in place. So you have the UK National Cybersecurity Center actually supporting President Biden's note, right? And even stating in detail that domain names and IP addresses should be reviewed as part of the overall security strategy. And that's totally correct. And if you saw on Twitter, you know, the anonymous actually, they've posted logos of the brands who are doing in Russia and giving them a warning, right? If you don't stop doing business with them, then you're going to be hearing from us, kind of like that message. So where does phishing is actually, you know, usually the source of ransomware attacks, right? So, and it's also a launchpad even for business email compromise. So I guess the first thing to do is to address it. And to address it, you should look at the sources of phishing. So there are three main sources. First one is malicious domain name registrations. These are domain names registered by third parties that are confusingly similar to pretend like a legit organization. Second one is email spoofing. So these emails that are coming to target customers pretending to be an actual organization or brand. And then the third one, which will be the focus, you know, in this quick talk, is compromised or hijacked legitimate domain names. So these are your own, an organization's own set of domain names and name servers that have been accessed by a third party, and an unauthorized third party. So actually your domain name plays an important role because they sit with your registrar together with your name servers. So domain names should be included in a company's domain name, security strategy. A domain name will always be tied with your DNS, and you know, it is used to power your applications like website, email, VPN, etc. And your DNS name servers will always be managed by your registrar because they have to keep that record, and it's publicly available, right? It's published. And so it is important for you to look to work with your registrar to ensure that security measures are in place. So on average, a domain name can cost $15, and then sometimes DNS can sometimes be free of charge with your registrar. But then you find companies spending millions on a website or other applications like email, cloud integration, etc. So, but if your domain name, that is usually forgotten, in terms of strategy, has been compromised or hijacked, it actually leads to a downtime of e-commerce, or it can lead to phishing, right? So in a way, it sort of doesn't it doesn't align, right? That if you're spending millions on applications, but then you don't take care of the core assets related to those applications. And there are, research out there supporting the data that I have in this slide. On average, the impact of a downtime or phishing is from $50,000 all the way up to $1.5 million on average. So this is an actual use case. So here you will see domain names together with name servers have been accessed by a third party to create websites and emails for a phishing campaign. So domain names sitting with the registrar together with your name servers can be accessed by a cyber criminal if, for example, the registrar's systems are compromised. That can be done through a fake phone call pretending to be the owner of the domain name requesting a change, or if the phishing was successful through the service representative of the registrar or the employees of the registrar, and then they've requested the change. It can also be done when an organization's account and its username passwords have been compromised, and therefore they have access to your own assets. So there are actually ways of mitigating such risks from happening. You can work with your registrar on a strategy to mitigate these risk areas. As you can see here, there are security layers that can be employed, right, to prevent unauthorized changes. So to protect your username password, you can use two-factor authentication. You can whitelist IP addresses, and you can also use single sign-on, right? Integrate with your office computer. From a registrar's perspective, it helps to follow SOC compliance. It also helps to have a strict workflow and a strict authorized contact policy. So that means unless you've really verified the request is coming from a legitimate or an authorized contact, then you should be strict, right, in allowing change requests. And at the highest level, you can also employ registry lock and DNSSEC. And I actually want to quickly just touch on registry lock. So registry lock is your first line of defense. For any company, it's your first line of defense for your domain name and DNS name servers. What this does is it prevents automation to changes to domain name information and name servers. In any event that your username and password or your registrar has been hacked, the attempt to delete or transfer a domain name or change the name servers will not be successful because propagation is prevented at the registry level. So in this slide, you will see on the upper right, it's CSC's own domain name, which has registry lock in place. Highlighted in blue, it indicates the actual status of registry lock. And as you can see, transfer and deletion are prohibited. And to add on to that, Brian Krebs, who's a cybersecurity expert, a popular blogger for cybersecurity, he's actually published a few articles about the importance of registry lock for organizations. It is your highest form of protection to ensure your own domain names and DNS name servers are not compromised. So in 2021, we've done our research on the top companies globally, and we've actually determined that 81% of these top companies still have room to grow in terms of their security posture. And really, registry lock should be included in a company's security strategy. Again, it is your first line of defense. And in the last few months, we've started a partnership with Security Scorecard. Security Scorecard is an independent party who provides ratings on a company's security and the security of their third-party vendors. In their research, they determined that those companies who work with more secure providers, more secure registrars, actually have an average of one letter higher, right, in terms of their overall security rating. And the reason behind this is because domain names, which are tied with your DNS, play an important role, right? In terms of how it relates to a phishing activity and ransomware attacks. So if you're working with a less secure or a consumer grade registrar, your company could be exposed to phishing. And again, that could lead to downtime and ransomware attacks. So what's the takeaway, right? For the organizations, my key recommendation: include your domain names with your DNS, and then to your overall security strategy. So as you can see here, it is a 4-step framework. Number 1, work with an enterprise class registrar who's more secure and can protect your company assets. Second is you adopt a defense in-depth approach. So use 2-factor authentication, registry lock, DMARC, DNSSEC, etc. And then the third one is to have a monitoring strategy, of course, to look out for malicious domain names and websites, those properties that you don't own and authorize. And of course, have an effective global enforcement strategy to take them down fast and effective. But the very first step is really to work with an enterprise registrar, right? Because if you do, you will find that you can work with them on a framework to apply security layers like 2-factor authentication, registry lock, and even support you on overall phishing protection strategy, because they can support you on monitoring and takedowns of malicious domain names, and even help you with employing DMARC to address email spoofing. So thank you for making time, and hopefully you enjoyed the session. If you I'm okay to entertain questions now. I think I have 5 minutes. At the same time, if you encounter questions after the session, I have my contact details here. Feel free to send me an email or give me a call even. And I look forward to talking to the audience. Thank you, David.
Yeah, thank you, John. That's pretty interesting. In fact, this is something that a lot of people should do in protecting their domain names, embarking the 2FA and registry lock and DMARC. This is good practices, in fact, and your talk itself is actually quite enlightening indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that, and happy to have a chat with you as well, David, offline.
Yeah. Okay. Now, there is a question on the chat itself. Let me read out to you and see whether you can entertain the question itself. Okay. Should we apply registry lock to all of the domain in a portfolio? How do we prioritize?
Yeah. That's a very good question. Yeah. There's no right or wrong answer, but I think a good starter is to prioritize your domain names. You can use a few sort of metrics to include in the criteria. Which domain names are used for a live website? Are there domains that are being used for email or other applications? Because if they do power applications for your e-commerce and your brand presence, then I reckon, right, that is an important domain name, and those should be prioritized. But there's no right or wrong answer. It really depends on your risk tolerance as well, right? And if you want to apply registry lock on all domain names, then why not?
Yeah, I think that's good. I think this question is actually pretty good from C Chambers. Thanks for the question. Okay, there is now a follow-up question. Do all the from C Chambers as well? He is asking about, do all the registrars offer this?
Yeah, good question. So this is an initiative of registries globally, right? So at the moment, not all registries offer this. You have registries like .com or SGNIC in Singapore, or AUDA in Australia, who offer this, and so, but not everyone. right? But ideally, all registries should offer this. But in any event, let's say that you have a domain name, let's say in .ph in the Philippines, where registry lock is not offered, then of course you go down the security layers, right? What's next then? Make sure you work with a secure provider and that 2FA is there, and then there's strict authorized contact policy. Again, registry lock is your first line of defense, but doesn't mean that it solves everything. You still have to address different layers of security risks.
Okay, I think that question also means that you have a combination of security strategy in place to so-called secure down. I think that's pretty good, in fact. Okay, sorry, I think C Chambers also asking about another question. Can I go to my registrar and they will offer this lock, or is it just CSC? I guess.
Oh, good question. I don't think I'm in a position to answer that. I think it's definitely worth checking with your current registrar if they do offer that. Definitely would recommend, at the very least, have a chat with your current registrar.
Okay. All right. Okay. If you have any other question, I think you can post out into the Q&A pod site. I think you can answer it live. Now, I think we should move on to the next speaker. I think thank you for all these wonderful questions. Now, our next speaker, his name is Imran Hossain. He's the managing director for EY Host. Hi, Imran. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. David, how are you?
Great. I think today is the first of the APAC DNS Forum, so lightning talk will be quite, in fact, it's very interesting indeed. So your topic is on an overview on Bangladeshi domain name service status, right?
You're right.
Okay. So the floor over to you, and give us a bit of rundown what exactly this topic about.
Thank you, David. Let me share my screen first. Can you see my screen? Thank you.
Yes, we can.
Thank you, David. This is Imran Hossain, Managing Director, EY Host Limited. We're from Bangladesh. So this is very great opportunity for me to having APAC DNS Forum. This is first time in APAC. So it's very, very great opportunity for me. So I would like to share about Bangladeshi domain name status. What is currently there is issues and there is some opportunities here. So let me share my next slide. Currently, we have 31,000 plus CCTLDs. That is, we have currently CCTLDs is .bd and .bangla. And 200,000 plus top level domains registered in Bangladesh right now, and there is a very good number of new GTL is also registered here, 29,000 pluses. So I hope this will be very this will be increased very soon rapidly. And currently we have one CCTLD registry in Bangladesh, that is BTCL. BTCL actually operate .bd and .bangla. And unfortunately, we don't have any top level TLD or TLD registry here. But we have two ICANN register in Bangladesh. One is partially operational and another is about to dead. We have a lot of opportunities in Bangladesh for domain name because of like Bangladeshi all of sectors are adopting digitalization. So there are many demands for domain name services and other services. Bangladesh government is very encouraging to people to establish their business using digitalization by offering fundings, cash incentives, high-tech parks, and a lot of other initiatives like this. And also there is good things for IT companies, like there is tax exemptions for ITS companies. And we have good number of youth peoples who actually live in Bangladesh, and they are going for their own startups, own business. So they are also registering their business domain name for their business. And there is good number of internet users in Bangladesh. Like there is some statistics I share here. 52.58 million internet users so far January 2022. So there is some common issues for domain name because there is some issues in Bangladesh. People are registering their domain names from their friends, or sometimes they actually taking some freelancer helps, and because they don't know they should have their domain ownership. So this is the very common domain issues people are facing in Bangladesh right now because of their lack of knowledge. And also they are facing some blackmail issues, like when they know about their issues, like they have some ownership for the domain. So when they actually would like to take the ownership for this domain, the freelancer or their friend sometimes blackmail him. And domain lost during the renewal time. Like sometime actually people would like to renew their domain, and they actually taking their domains from the international providers, and during the renewal time they actually cannot pay their domain renewal fees because of like he was taking their domain registration services payment from his friend or someone freelancers. So that was also that is also very common issues for domain name. And CCTLDs and .bangla, like .bangla and .bd, this is very complex process. People cannot register their domain name or renew timely. For this reason, actually, this CCTLD also cannot increase their numbers. And there is another thing, we see many cases here in Bangladesh, like trademark infringement. Like some people start their business with some domain name, and he actually established his business. Then after a few years later, he got some trademark issues, and then he have to like lost their domain name because of the trademark issues. And unfortunately, because of like we have some freelancers in Bangladesh, they actually involving some abuse activities to earn their money by registering gov or trademark domain names. Like this is very commonly happening. Like yesterday also we got this type of issues. Some people actually register about 10 plus domains, that is our government owning the domain, but they actually registered the domain with some other CLD, and they actually doing some abuse activities. Actually, they don't know about this abuse, but they know that this is the way to earn money. So this is also lack of knowledge. So there is some scopes to improve these issues we can overcome. So I would like to share this improvement area. There is like we can help to improve our awareness. Like in Bangladesh, we can improve awareness about spamming, trademark infringement, and ethics and other, etc. And to ensure the right owner of the domain name, like international companies who are actually offering domain names to Bangladesh should be more careful to sell their domain name in terms of payments and right owner information and others. Domain name registration should be performed by company legal authority, or if it's personal, then it should be by register himself or herself. And to reduce massive spamming, fraud, and trademark infringement, then we need to develop a policy guideline to determine who can be a reseller for ICANN accredited registrar. And last thing, the global community could play a pivotal role to build awareness in Bangladesh to make the internet a safer world. Thank you very much. And here is my contact details. If you have any questions, you can ask me here, or like you can reach me to my phone number, email address is here. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Hossein. I think your presentation itself put a perspective of what's happening in Bangladeshi. I think that's great. I think it's great news. Now, those of you who have any question can actually put the question in the Q&A, and then we'll take it from here. Okay, so let's hear them out. Any questions? Okay, that's it. Oh, there's a complimentary from one of the attendee. I think it's Subaram. He said, "Nice presentation, Imran. Things will get better from here, from Bangladesh. Great stuff."
Thank you, Subham.
Okay. Now, those of you online, I think you can also ask a question to the respective speakers that have presented. It's actually good to do that. I'll give you guys about 5 minutes for this. Okay, could I bring back all the speakers back into the room there? Okay, that's the question by Jiang Chuang Zhang from ICANN. His question to Imran, can you share a bit more about the IDN .bg domain?
This is a good question, but I can actually, I'm not from BTCL, but what actually I know about this IDN from BTCL, like we have a TLD for IDN, it's .bangla. So it's currently we can register the domain from the BTCL panel, but it is not that much popular. And I think there is few numbers of people are registering .bangla domains in Bangladesh, but it is not very popular IDN domains.
Okay, right.
And
that's great.
you can email me, so I can connect with the BTCL guys who actually give more details about this idea. .bd.
Okay, all right. That's great to hear. Any more questions from the floor? All right. Okay, so if there's none, we'll end the session. And those of you who still have other questions can also email to the respective speaker that are here, then available when you actually send them this question, and they can actually answer for you. So great to have all three of you to attend this particular lightning talk. And appreciate your time. I know you come from different time zone. Okay, appreciate the time here. And okay, we could, and I'd like to all wish you all luck. Okay, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, David.
I will see you again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much to our respective speakers and David for the plenty of food for thought. At the moment, I would like you to kindly fill out the survey that will pop up in front of your screen right about now. Okay, and if you have more thoughts to share with us, you may also share them with us in the form that has been provided in the chat box. Please don't forget about the Amazon gift card that could be yours. So for more details, you may visit apecdnsforum.me. The next session is on establishing a trusted notifier mechanism to fight DNS abuse, which will start at 16:15 p.m. in UTC Plus A and UTC. We will see you there.